Welcome to Reinvent and Rise. I am so excited. This is the premiere show. This is the first show right here on the WOD network on the Black House channel. I am excited about being a resource for women who are in the wonderful age band of 45 plus. I'm here, ladies, and I'm excited about providing you the information that is specific to us. To us, information that we need. Let me introduce myself. I'm your reinvention coach, and my focus is on personal and career development. I'm Alethia Tucker, and I know exactly where you are because I'm there too. Not quite as young as Beyonce, but not at the other end of the spectrum either. I like to call us seasoned. I'm married and have been for 28 years. We have two beautiful children, one who just came out of grad school and the other who is making his way through his junior year in undergrad. And we have a four-legged person who lives here with us who likes to call himself our third child. Yeah. I'm an only child. My father passed away about 4 years ago. My mother is alive and kicking and lives not far from us at all. She has reinvented after being married to my father for 54 plus years. Wow, she has a powerful story. I've been in the HR field, HR, marketing, and training for most of my life. I spent about 10 years in corporate America and about 15 in private sector. I've always been very active in my volunteer organizations, active in church, active in things that I do in the community. And in everything that I have done, I frequently find myself working with women. So that's a little about me, and I'm sure that there were parts of that story that you heard, that little bit about me, that sounded a lot like you. Yeah, we all have our individual stories, but I frequently say when I talk to people that our stories are different, our journeys, our walk is our individual walk. However, in our journey, we all have a story, a solution that was birthed from our experiences, and somebody is waiting on us to bring the solution to them. I feel that that is why I'm here. I feel that that is why we needed this resource, and I know that it is going to be what so many of us need. So here I am, and I'm glad you're here with me. I am very proud to say that I'm 57 years young, and life has changed for me numerous times. I'm sure you can probably, say the same thing. I'm sure that you know that as we age, things are going to change. We're going to see changes in our bodies. We can't always do the things with the agility that we used to be able to do them with when we were just, a little younger. Life has always dealt us challenges, but let's face it, we deal with challenges a little differently the older we get. They look different. They just look different. Some of us are taking care of aging parents. Others are trying to figure out, what we want to do with life now that we've spent most of our years caring for others, raising children, nurturing family, running the PTA meetings, doing what we have to do at church, solving problems for friends, and working and building somebody else's dream. Do you hear me? I know you all know what I'm talking about. That's what we look like, and that's where we need support. We need people who have been through the things that we've been through, who are dealing with the things that we're dealing with, who are going to be able to shed some light on where we are right now and what are some of the things that we can do to improve where we are, to improve life going forward, and for many of us to kind of go back and snatch back the things that we weren't able to do before now. We need to talk relationships. We need to talk finances. We need to talk how we live, faith, And what are we going to do now that we've reached, like I said, that pinnacle point in our prime? So, what are we talking about, ladies? We're talking about reinvention. Thus, the name of the show, Reinvent and Rise. We're going to talk resources that are going to help us to be our very best, to live and be our best selves at this point in our lives. So, how did I even get to the point where I'm talking reinvention? The point where I really kind of spend all my coaching time and all of my speaking time talking about change. It was the loss of someone very dear to me. I already said before, my dad passed away 4 years ago. And for anyone who's lost someone as dear as a parent, I know you can relate to the fact that it seems like on many occasions, just yesterday. He had to be the most selfless person that I ever knew. He came from such humble beginnings, and I believe that that helped to establish his demeanor and his mission in life. At the age of 17, he enlisted in the military. At the age of 21, he became head of household because his father passed away. And he was the second oldest of seven. He was the second oldest of seven. He helped to raise a family and formally educate them right alongside his mom. Without a formal education, he was able to do things that many of us dreamed of, yet in all that he did, being of service to someone else was what brought him the joy in his life. He rose to great heights in the Air Force. He spent most of his life there. Once he retired, he went into corporate America. He always made time to return what he had, what he learned, all of the things that he was privileged to understand. He was always willing to share that with someone else. People walked up to me at his funeral and said, I'm here from the West Coast because your father gave me my first job. I heard someone else tell the story of how dad helped him to get his first car. Others talked about how he counseled them through rough family things. It was shortly after his passing that I knew that the same fire that my father had for service also burned in me. I knew that I had to do something to fulfill that burning, just as he had done most of his life, right up until the day he died. A year after he passed, I published the first book. I've been working on it for a long time. 50 Things I've Learned on My Way to 50. I started it as I approached my 50th birthday and wanted something that was going to be substantial, something that was going to commemorate the 50 years. And that book turned into a tremendous blessing for me. It was during that writing process that I really realized that I learned so much in 50 years. However, there was a lot more that I had to do. So, whatever I did, I knew that I had to start with getting me to the point where I was susceptible, where I was pliable, where I was in a position to grow and to learn and to do the things that I needed and wanted to do. So what did that involve? That involved tearing down some limiting beliefs, building up my confidence, understanding what was holding me back, breaking the cycle of constantly feeling defeated, and most importantly, realizing that I had something to offer, not just to myself, but to the world. I was here for a purpose. I was here as a part of God's plan. And he just did not put us all here just, as my grandma would say, willy-nilly, just to sit here and do absolutely nothing. We have a purpose, and we have a plan, and we have a road to walk and a debt to fulfill. I worked really hard on my stinking thinking. That was my biggest stronghold. Somewhere along the line, I felt a sense of unworthiness. I felt that because of the things that I had encountered on my journey, because of the things that I saw as being thorns at the time, But God really allowed to just grow me to get to the point where I can be of service to someone. Those things had really kind of made some challenges with the way I thought, and I had to outgrow them and overcome them. I went on to get certifications in life and career coaching. And I co authored two books, that became number one, Amazon number one bestsellers. Only God. The books Speaking My Truth and Women Crushing Mediocrity. I began to speak on stages. I sponsored conferences and opportunities for women to get together and share their journeys. And most recently, I was the visionary behind my third book, where 14 co authors joined me in the dream that I have of helping women to understand that they could dream again, that they did not have to stay in the place where they currently are if they wanted something better, that they could reinvent, that they would have to put in the work, but that they could reinvent or reinvent, as the book is called, Reinvent to Rise. These women told heart-wrenching, revealing, raw stories of their journeys through reinvention, each one looking different, but many having very similar themes. My goal in writing the book and my prayer as I prayed for who was supposed to be in there was that I would draw together a community of women who had a mission to simply do one thing other than freeing themselves by telling their stories. I wanted them to help to free others. I wanted them to understand that by sharing their journeys, they were providing the solutions that so many people need. And it has worked. These women, this group that I was blessed to work with, shared their stories, and they have taken on the mantra of reinventing and helping others to do the same. They have gone and they have started doing programs of their own. They've authored additional books already. Reinvented to Rise was just released a couple of months ago. These women are on fire, and I'm on fire too, with the vision that I originally birthed to help women to see that you don't have to remain where you are. You too can reinvent. And guess what, ladies? We're going to try and tackle that. We're going to tackle that on this platform with Reinvent to Rise. Here on Reinvented to Rise, we'll talk about techniques for handling some of the challenges that we face because of where we are in life. We'll talk about things that cause us pain. And we'll pursue solutions that will be the balm that we've been needing. We'll talk about taking care of elderly parents. Many of us are there. Navigating insurance. Looking at our 401ks to make sure that when we retire, whenever we decide to stop working, that we're going to live the lifestyle that we really want to live. Looking at the specific solutions, some of the holistic solutions, and not always the prescribed medication, to help us with some of the ailments that we deal with right now. Dealing with and working with friends and being able to encourage them as they deal with the same things. We'll talk about perhaps ending one career and starting another, being an entrepreneur as we've always dreamed of, or moving up that corporate ladder because now is the time. And we finally realize that it's time to stop hiding behind someone else and put forth and let everybody know that those efforts that they see that are going so well and looking so good, they came from us. We are the ones. We are the culprit. We are the ones who had the dream that has made so many other people's dreams flourish. Yes, it's time. Finally, y'all, it's time. We're going to bring value to what we do. The value was always there. We're going to spotlight it. So something I heard really speaks to our value, speaking of value. And many of you have heard of Elizabeth Gilbert. If not, you've probably heard of her book. She's the author of the book that's now turned into a movie, wildly popular, Eat, Pray, Love. And in a recent interview that she did with Good Morning America, she mentioned the two types of people that she discovered that there are. Really, they weren't discovered. She just was really able to put a name to them. And there are those two people that she discovered and how they pursue goals and how they pursue life. And I really related this to myself, and I could relate it to people just overall. There are those who stick with one direct path, really focused in on one goal that they've come up, that they've determined that they want to do, and they never stray from that goal. These are the people that they call themselves the jackhammers. They know that they are there to get a hole a certain size. They've got to reach a certain point, and they're going to sit there and jackhammer at that hole and that area till they get to the promised land, till they get to the point where they want to be. They know that they're there to drill that hole, like I said, and they're going to concentrate on that hole until they hit it. Then there are those who change their mind maybe a little more frequently than some think they should. They're ready and willing to try different things. They're interested in more than one thing. They may have an interest over here. They may have 5, 6, 7 different interests. They may know exactly what they want to focus on the most, and then they may want to focus on more than one thing. They may want to share some responsibilities in what they focus on. These people, they're called the hummingbirds or scavengers. I like hummingbirds a little better. The important thing to remember is that both of these types of people have purpose. They both have purpose. If you need to make a certain place where you want to focus, then you're a jackhammer. However, in order to create many of the beautiful things that we see in this world, a hummingbird is needed, because that hummingbird is going to go from place to place to place, pollinating each place it goes and giving birth to beautiful things. So a jackhammer is needed just as much as a hummingbird is needed, and they both are needed. However, they may serve two totally different purposes with two totally different visions, two totally different plans. But the point is, they are here for a purpose. I don't know about you, but that story brought me so much joy. Why? It helped me to realize that over the years, some of the things that I had been told that really should not have been what I desired to do, things that I wanted to do and people poo-pooed on them, or things that I was doing that just didn't fit me at all and I failed, and it just totally ate at my entire demeanor and my self-confidence. It helped me to see that it was okay to have ideas in different areas. How many of you have held on to dreams because they don't focus in the area that you were told that they should focus on? Let me rephrase that. How many of you have let go of dreams? You've held on to them, meaning you haven't operated in them because they don't focus in the areas that people say you should be focused on, that people say you should be focused on. You hold back because of thoughts like, I can't do this, or what was I thinking? I can't make money doing that. I'm going to go in another direction again because, I really thought I was going to be able to do this, but, it doesn't sound like it's the kind of thing that fits in society. So I got to stay here because I might look scatterbrained otherwise. We've all thought it. We've all felt it. We've all done it. Well, I feel that many of us need to finally move away from that, because you need to pursue that thing. And what better time is there to go after your dreams than to do it right now in your prime? Ladies, you bring value the way you are, whether you're a jackhammer or a hummingbird or a bee or a fly. No, you bring value. They all serve a purpose. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at getting ourselves back at this prime age where we have been telling ourselves that it's okay to sit on that back burner. But now, or it's okay that I've been on that back burner, but now is my time to rise. Now is my time to finally be put at the front of the stove, at the front of the line, at the front of the line, so that I can go after those things that I want, that I need, that I deserve to have. We need to grasp and run. Get whatever tools we need. That's what this show is going to be dedicated to, getting us the tools we need to go for it. The tools we need in our prime to be healthier, to establish our business, to advance in corporate America. We'll talk change around those things. We want to help you here at Reinvent to Rise. And I say we because I'll be bringing guests to you who will be experts in the field of the things that we need to know. I want to help you to go for better. It's daily, but it's something that you can do to live as your best self. Listen, you've taken care of family. You've worked hard at your career. The nest, if not already empty, is almost empty. And you're ready to make some changes. Or you may not see it as being ready to make some changes, but you know that you want something different. Let's call it different, because change sometimes scares people. Now is your time to reinvent yourself so that you can rise. Ladies, it's time for the new you and the new improved you to come through, okay? So this month, we're going to kick things off in fine fashion. So what are we going to discuss? It is National Breast Cancer Month. We'll talk to a survivor who will be able to tell us what navigating breast cancer, what navigating a diagnosis like that is like. They'll be able to tell us their journey. They'll be able to tell you their success factors. They'll be able to tell you the things that challenge them. They'll be able to be raw and to be honest and to bring it to you in the way that we need to see it, so that if we're helping anyone, so that if we're dealing with it right now ourselves, we have some solutions. We can look at some people who look like us, who can bring us some answers. We'll meet someone who is finally going after her dream at the right age of 76. 76, y'all. She's going after it. And you know what? She's not the youngest person to do it either. And she's definitely not the oldest. She will inspire us to see that we can go for it. Yeah, we can go for it. We can do those things that we have put off all of our lives, most of our lives. We can get back to it, or we can start it because we haven't. We'll speak with a doctor who is in the clinical field, who is going to talk to us about being worthy of change. Yeah, we're going to go there. We're going to talk mental health. We're going to talk where we are mentally. Where we are mentally. And for many of us, it's going to bring a lot to pull us to the point where we're healthy mentally because we've been unhealthy for so long. Whether that's in relationships, whether that's in how we've allowed ourselves to feel, whether it's how we feel about the way we look, whether it is about how we've been conditioned, things we've been told in childhood, things we've been told in abusive relationships, things we've been told in physically and mentally abusive relationships. We're going to have a doctor here who's going to share her story with us and tell us, yeah, we're worthy of change. She's going to help us to see that all of that negativity should not be a part of our language and definitely is not a part of who we are. It may have held us down in the past, but it's certainly not going to hold us anywhere any longer as we have pushed forth and determined that we're going to reinvent and rise. So, on the show, the format will be as such. We'll be bringing 30-minute shows, 4 of them a month. You will either be speaking with me or seeing me directly, or you'll hear from guests, like I said, experts in the field of the topics that we need to address. So, whenever possible, like I said, I'll also be bringing some training. The training will be in addition to the discussions that we'll be having on the regular shows. So we'll have 30-minute shows each week, and some months we'll have an additional 30 minutes each week to deal with a training that is different from the show, but will relate to what the shows have covered for the month. So this month, we will be talking about knowing your value. And I'll talk a little more about that in just a second. I'm excited because I have a platform where I can not only provide you with information, but I can also give you some training so that you're not only learning the things that you need in this prime point in our lives, but you're also learning how to get to the point of where you need to be in this prime point in our lives. And I'm so excited about that. And the wonderful thing about the training is because of the volume of people that I'm able to reach on the platform, it is incredibly economical and an incredible valuable investment for you. For you. Remember, we're focusing on us. We're focusing on doing something for us. And if you've already read about the training, you know that I'm telling the truth. So please sign up, and I'll be sure to give information for you to be able to do that as well. So as I mentioned, we're talking knowing our value. The doctor is already going to come and talk to us about our mental health and knowing that we have value. We're going to take a deep dive into that over 4 weeks. So you will be getting training 30 minutes per session and a workbook to work through it as well. And of course, I'm always open for discussion, and we'll have some platforms where we can do some discussions as well. Ladies, that's it for October. That's it. But that's a bunch, and I am so excited about that. The things that we'll talk about on this show, we'll talk investment, we'll talk our finances, we'll talk faith, we'll talk our lifestyle, we'll talk health, we'll talk career, we'll talk all of the things that are important to us. This is a platform for us. I'll bring to you conferences. I'll bring to you other programs that I may not personally be focused on, but programs that I know will be beneficial to you. It is time for us, y'all. It's time for us. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm so excited about Reinvented and Rise. That is the first show under my belt. I pray that you have a wonderful week, and I pray that you determine that you're going to go out there and live authentically and confidently as yourself. And whatever's lacking, you are going to commit to reinvent and rise.